Okay, so here we're going to be solving absolute value equations. I know we got started on it yesterday, and I can tell you from looking at the work, one or two of you kind of caught on. Two or three of you are using Photomath. Put your phones away right this minute. Do not use Photomath. You're not helping yourself in any way, shape, or form. And if you're thinking, hey, Mr. Stevens, how do you know I'm using it? I've been doing this way too long. You're not pulling the wool over anybody's eyes. So stop it. You need to learn how to do this on your own 2 feet. You're not going to be able to use Photomath on a quiz or a test. And those are the times when it matters. This practice is to help you learn how to do this. So please stop handicapping yourself and making it worse for later on. You're not turning this in for a grade for a lot of points. You're turning this in for a grade to see if you're going to be able to do well on a quiz or a test. So please stop using Photomath. Okay, now when it comes to solving absolute value equations, we know the absolute value means the distance away from zero on a number line. So when we're doing these, we know that it could be one of two possibilities. So I'm going to take a look at an easier problem to begin with, and then we'll work our way into a little bit more difficult problem. So let's take a look at problem number 4, for example. It says the absolute value of negative 6m equals 30. So if I put my finger over that for just a second, the absolute value of something, whatever, here, block it. The absolute value of something equals 30. So that means whatever's underneath my pen could either be 30 or it could be negative 30. It doesn't matter. Anything underneath my pen can equal 30 or it could equal negative 30. Right? It's the only two possibilities. The absolute value of something to be 30, it has to be equal 30 or negative 30. Those are the only two things that are going to give me 30. So we say negative 6m equals 30 or negative 6m equals negative 30, right? Because that's a positive 30. The absolute value equals 30. So it could either equal 30 or whatever's underneath here could equal negative 30. And now these we just solve. Divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6, m equals negative 5. Divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6, m equals a positive 5. All right, so those are the two options. Okay, now this works once the absolute value is isolated. What does it mean to be isolated? Well, like quarantine, you're isolated by yourself, right? So you cannot be by anything. In other words, there's nothing multiplying in front or adding, subtracting, and behind. So let's take a look at an example where an absolute value is not isolated. Roll it over on the back if we look at problem number 12. It says 3 times the absolute value of negative 8x plus 8 is 80. Okay, so I want to get the absolute value by itself first before I do anything else. So let's just treat this like it said 3x plus 8 equals 80. Now, if I handed you that 3x plus 8 equals 80, I know you can handle it. You do great, right? You would subtract 8 from both sides and then you divide by 3 and you'd be good. Well, same thing happens here, except for I'm dealing with the absolute value. So now I get absolute value by itself first, right? So I want to get the absolute value isolated. So here, I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, and I get 3 times the absolute value of negative 8x equals, and 80 minus 8 is 72. And then I take that, divide it by 3, divided by 3, gone. So the absolute value of negative 8x equals, shoot, I don't know what that is. I'm not very good looking. I don't know these things. So 72 divided by 3, 24, guys. Everybody knows that. Come on. Now look, the absolute value of something equals a number. Now I have the absolute value of something equals a number. So now I can split this into my two possibilities, right? So I get negative 8x equals 24 or negative 8x equals negative 24. Divide by negative 8, divide by negative 8, and x equals negative 3. Divide by negative 8, divide by negative 8, and x equals a positive 3. Okay? If you have questions, make sure you're asking plenty of questions. Miss Christine definitely going to help out as best she possibly can.